So I'm looking at my chat box and I'm beginning to get a stream of chats around a very familiar theme. And we're talking about advancing and searching and finding new work in the midst of, or I'd say at the beginning in the US of a crisis. And yet the questions I'm getting have to do with another type of barrier, another type of obstacle, which executives frame as ageism. I'm leaning into my late 50s or I'm 60 plus, and I don't believe, the chats go, that people will pay attention to me. I'll start with Harriette, and then I want to hear from Connie as well. But Harriette, what do we say to people who have that sense of obstruction as they launch into potentially a life-changing career?
Well, what's interesting is sometimes when people have that concern and then you turn to their resume or you turn to LinkedIn or you turn to their executive profile, the first couple of sentences you see are something to the effect of over 30 years of, or seasoned is the other word. Translate old. And I'm right there, so I'm with you. But we have to be cautious of that and finding and defining what it is that you want to do, what interests you, what are you passionate about, what can you speak about that frames you in a different way is important. The other thing is to recognize that no matter what you do, you can only bring certain experiences and depth of expertise if you've done something for a while. And many organizations are now valuing and reevaluating that need for talent, if you will, in those realms. There's an article that I got in my inbox this morning from DDI, Development Dimensions International, who I used to work for, and they're finding that it's later in life now that people are getting their first supervisory or managerial role. The average age is 36. So it's really climbed from what it used to be. Now, a lot of that has to do, I think, with how work gets done. There's a lot of individual contributors, a lot of people doing what we're all doing now, which is working from home or working virtually. So it's different. But have a passion, be able to speak about it, know your value, be able to speak about it, and think about what can you do to help organizations solve their problems or pursue opportunities. And they're out there, they're not as obvious, and it's certainly probably not going to come from simply posting your resume or responding to a posting that you see. It's far more complex than that.
Connie, I want to give you a chance if you'd like to build on what Harriette has said.
Yeah, there's one piece of the resume that needs your attention if you're over 50, and that is how far back you go. And the idea is that in reality, people don't particularly care about anything before the year 2000 in terms of detail. And so what we recommend, and I do when I work with people on their work, on their resumes, is that you stop at 2000 and you describe your accomplishments in those situations. And then you have a little section after that that says something like earlier relevant experience. And you list the company and the titles, but not the years. And likewise with your degree, just leave off the years. Everybody does it, even young people. The other thing that I have going for me is that I'm able to tell people when they worry about that I landed my last full-time job at the age of 62. And I ran the Northeast, the North America rather, for a company based in Scotland. And I took it at 62 and I said, oh, what the heck, I'll take it so I can get to Medicare and have benefits, right? And I wound up staying 7 years. I had a ball and I really didn't want to retire, but I was done. You know, I didn't want to work full time. I wanted to do something of my own. And so I created a transition plan and left. But at 62, I had a 7-year run. And so being able to share that is helpful to people who are in their 50s, right? They're babies and they're worried about it. So I can't tell somebody how to feel, but I can tell that example where it just didn't matter.
Mhm. I want to acknowledge that one of our viewers chatted in, "Yippee, Connie." So I second that emotion.